guarantee you that this is going to be the best one. So let's bring them on out right now and get started. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ewan McGregor. Also from Kenobi, Mr. Rupert Friend.
He was the one with the white skin that got him.
It's a bit intimidating, isn't it?
Yeah, look at these. This is very intimidating. This is different Star Wars fan groups in the San Antonio area.
Hi guys, you having a good time?
We'd like to thank you guys for going. You guys can have them. I don't want them standing there the whole time. They're going to fall off the stage or something. Let's go. So we actually had C. Lou here last night. He said he's a huge fan of Obi-Wan and the show Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I asked if he had a question for you. And he said he wanted me to say hello there to you.
It's the first time I've heard that this weekend.
So let's get started. I just wanted to start introductory question. How did you guys get into the performing arts? Ewan, I'll start with you. How did you get into acting? How did you get into acting?
Well, I grew up in a small town in Scotland called Crieff, and my mum's brother, my uncle Dennis, is an actor and became an actor from that same small town. And he's in the Star Wars films. He plays Wedge Antilles in the original 3 films. And he was also in an amazing film called Local Hero, and he was in a lot of television work in Britain. He did in the 80s and 90s. He became quite big in the West End and musicals. He's a sort of song and dance man. And so I grew up with this uncle who was an actor, and I think initially I just wanted to be like him, you know. I was sort of starstruck by my own uncle. And so I often wonder if he hadn't become an actor, if he hadn't been an actor, would I still have thought to do it? I hope so. But who knows?
And he's still out there acting. He does a lot of theater. I've acted him a couple times, and he's a great guy.
He's a great guy. He's doing these conventions now, so some of you might even have met him before, but he's brilliant, Dennis. Dennis Lawson is his name.
And then remember, how'd you get into acting or performing arts?
I also grew up in a small town in the village, really, in England, and in our school they would have these careers advisors who would come and try and figure out what you're supposed to do with your life. And this guy had a computer program into which you entered answers. Do you like working with people? Do you like being outside? Do you like working with animals? And I answered all his questions, and he tapped them in and sort of scratched his head and said, I've never seen this before. And he turned the computer around to show me, this is, 90s, so it's a green screen Amstrad, and it said, there are no careers suitable for this family. And so I sort of looked into more vagrant-y careers, like, running off to join the circus or, rodeos and fun stuff. And I thought acting was the one that seemed to be the most different day to day, and here I still am. My oldest friend actually is now a very, very fine artist, and he was told by the same computer program that he should be a fish farmer. So it was clearly a corrupt program somewhere.
So what was it like first hearing about the new Kenobi series coming out? When you first heard that it was coming out, I know you went for a long time, people asking you, like me coming up and saying, when are you going to be acting Kenobi? And you happened to maybe fit a little bit. What did you?
It happened really quite a long time ago. I'm not on I don't do social media anymore, but for a time I did, and every day there would be sort of, are you going to, at the end of every interview I did for a period of time, maybe 10 years ago, there was 2 questions at the end of every interview, and they would say, are you going to do the sequel to TRAINSPOTTIng, and will you play Obi-Wan Kenobi again? And those were the 2 always last, and it was, you could guarantee that those were going to be the last 2 questions of And I was brought up to tell the truth. And so I would say, at first I would say, no, I don't want to do a sequel to TRAINSPOTTIng, and then eventually I changed my mind. But with Obi-Wan, I was saying, I would be up for doing it again, because I meant it. So eventually I got a phone call from my agent saying, there's a lady at Lucasfilm, I think Lucasfilm had just been bought by Disney. There's a lady called Kiri, and she said she wanted you to come in. So I went in to meet her, and she basically just said, is it true, we're reading a law that you're saying you would like to do? And it looked a bit like I was trying to get work from Disney, really, because I was answering the question all the time. And I said, yeah, look, I would think it would be, I've always thought there must be a good story to tell between, the last episode 3 and A New Hope. And I think we found a really good story to tell, and that eventually became the series.
So you don't like interviews being ended now, asking about TRAINSPOTTIng 3 and another Kenobi series. I think we'll hear that.
I think we will do TRAINSPOTTIng 3 when we're all in our 70s. And the 4 of us in some old age home for, retired drug users.
And Rupert, how did you come on board on Kenobi?
I was asked by the casting director, who is a friend of ours, to consider this. I, to be honest, never heard of the Inquisitors, sorry, never heard of them. But she sent me some of the artwork, and I thought it was extraordinary. And then the first thing it said in the script, after he's coming to the canteen, is that he loves the sound of his own voice. And I thought, yeah, that's me. Can do.
Rupert, other than your own character, do you have a favorite Star Wars character?
Yeah, I mean, present company accepted. It was always a toss-up for me between Han Solo and Yoda. One the sort of the swashbuckling kind of sass Harrison Ford, and I don't know, the way Yoda talks always tickled me.
How about you? Other than Obi-Wan?
I had when I was a wee boy, I remember I had a Chewbacca, and I had an Alec Guinness, I had a Obi-Wan, and I had a Princess Leia. And I think Leia is, I think she's probably my favourite character. She's so ballsy and wisecracking and beautiful, and I think Princess Leia, I was always very in love with Princess Leia when I was a little boy. And then I was so lucky because later on in life I got to know Carrie Fisher, and was lucky to be able to become a friend of hers, and so that was a really beautiful journey. So I'll say Princess Leia.
And I just want everybody in this room next week, we're going to watch Kenobi again, and we're going to see you with young Princess Leia, and that's going to have a different feeling. That's going to be, that was you two were great together.
She's great, oh my gosh. Vivian, we were just talking about her backstage, she's such an amazing little actor. She's an amazing actor, and she's such an amazing young person, isn't she? She's
She's like an old soul, very much.
And what was it like, and most of these questions are coming from our audience here. This is the best audience in the world here.
That's right.
But Austin, I don't know if he's from Austin, Texas, that's his name. He'd like to know, what was it like the first time seeing Hayden Christensen in the Darth Vader mask?
Well, you wouldn't have seen him if he was in the mask, would you?
I don't know. This is a superhero comedy hour.
There was what happened before I worked with Darth Vader on set was I worked with a couple of stormtroopers in the series when Vivian and I end up on the mining planet, and we end up in that transporter, and some stormtroopers get on. And when they got on, I realised I'd never worked with a stormtrooper before, and it made me feel like I was a little boy again. Like that image of looking into their face for real was really made me have that sort of like childish anxiety that you got from the Empire, But nothing compared to the first fight in episode 3 where Darth Vader's coming at me, he came at me over the shoulder. We rehearsed the fight. You know, we never rehearsed the fight in full costume or anything, but when we rehearsed the fight on set, you know, his helmet wasn't on. And then, you know, they're getting ready to do the take and they're doing my makeup and my faffing around my hair, and he's obviously getting the helmet on, but I didn't see it. So I'm walking down and I hear him coming, action. I turn around, there's Darth Vader coming at me, you know, with a red sword. And I wouldn't say what I usually say because there's children present, but I got a terrible fright. It was something else, but it really was like a 7-year-old jolt of fear, you know, it touched that had been locked inside me all these years. And he's frightening too, the way. In the show, he's quite scary too. We'd have chats on set with all the prosthetics, you know, with all the straw, drinking your tea.
And so what was it like the first time you saw him in the, I won't say you saw him, but you saw him wearing the Darth Vader costume?
Yeah, it's like Ewan says, you get lost in this, because it's just like, you know, as Shaw says in Jaws, like cold, dark, dull, dead, shark eyes, this kind of black mask, and you're staring and you can't really see yourself, you can't see anything, and it's just this huge, I don't know, I just found myself getting completely like hypnotized by it. Scary.
Speaking of your scary costume, how long did that take to assemble to get that on?
My costume, it was 4 hours of makeup to get it on, about half an hour to get into all the armour and stuff, and then an hour to get it all off. So my day began about 3 in the morning, and then this lot showed up at 7, bright and sunny. I had a lovely night's sleep.
With his coffee in hand.
With his coffee. I can't drink coffee because I've got false teeth in. So these guys, he just put some dressing gown on and showed up as far as I can.
So like I said, some of these questions came from the audience, so bear with me on this one. You did an interview where you said you were shooting scenes with Obi-Wan Kenobi and something special happened on the set on May the 4th. What happened? I guess it wasn't said so in the podcast. Do you know what I'm talking about? Something special happened on May the 4th? Oh God. Oh, you're getting it.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know that there was a story about that. Sorry.
Thanks, pal.
Maybe something special happened to somebody else on May the 4th, but
Have you ever? Do you want to make something up? Are we still on this question?
We all switched characters for the day, and yeah, I don't know.
no, I don't remember. Sorry.
Another audience question. After the long period of time not playing Obi-Wan Kenobi, what was it like coming back into that role?
It was brilliant to come back. It was such a brilliant experience. I've always tried to hold Alec Guinness's performances really close. I spent a lot of time before we start shooting thinking about him, watching him, not only in Star Wars, because it's amazing how iconic Alec Guinness is as Obi-Wan Kenobi from just a handful of scenes. He's not really in an awful lot of that first film. He's in a bit of it. So I watch all those. I sort of listen to his voice a lot. But I like going back to watch on YouTube. I watch a lot of his interviews, and it's sort of in that hate glory day when actors were actually asked questions about their work and stuff in interviews, you know, as opposed to nowadays where I know you just start getting made on television shows. I mean, you sort of just get made fun of now by comedians. But in the old days, there were people that were real interviewers, and sorry, guys. That's not nice, is it? I can just see every chat show I go on from now on is going to be a nightmare. Anyway, there was an interview with Britain called Parkinson. It was like an hour-long interview, and it would be on the weekends. And it was like an hour-long chat. It was really informative. And so I watched all of Alec Guinness's interviews and some of his early work. And so it was lovely to go back to playing him again because I was so much closer to him in age than when he was 63, I think, and when they shot A New Hope. I'm 51, so I'm a little bit closer to him in age than I was when I played it before, and it just felt great. It just felt great fun. That's a long answer.
We like long answers. And how did you find, getting into your character, developing your character?
Well, it was a challenge because, Jason Isaacs, who I'm an enormous fan of, already voiced the character for Rebels, and so I was aware of that, but I didn't want to do a copy of someone else's, interpretation of the role per se, because, the animated world is such a different challenge. So it was that thing of trying to do something that was my own, but also have a nod to what Jason had done. And I spoke to Dave Filoni about it a little bit, and he said, remember that normally we do live action first, and then we move to animation, and in that transition we exaggerate the voice, we exaggerate the movements, we do things that we can't do in live action. And here we're going the other way, like with Rosario Dawson's show. So it's important to ground the character in a reality of your own design, I guess. So there was a complete artistic license to do kind of whatever with it while keeping the spirit of what we knew alive. That was really long-winded. Sorry, everyone. Can we get the yes?
That's what we're here for. We want to hear long-winded answers. Fantastic. Another audience question from Angela. She's a retired teacher. She would like to know, do you have a teacher or mentor that encouraged and inspired you?
Yes. My music, when I was in school, I was only interested in, because I'm a creative person, I was only good or interested in artistic art, music, and my music teacher, and English to a degree, and my music teacher was a great inspiration in my life. Alison Hunter was her name, and she was my favourite. We had a sort of, she pushed me quite hard, she wanted me to be I played the French horn through school, and I think she always wanted me to be like a professional French horn player, and I was disappointed that I went into this sort of profession, but she was great, yeah. I always remember her.
Didn't you do a movie with a French horn?
I played the tenor horn in Rostov. That's similar. That's a funny story about that. So I could play it when we did Rostov. We were playing with a real grindcore colliery band, and we were playing that in the movie, but we were playing an actual band, and they just sat the actors in the chairs of, in their respective places, and I'm sitting with the tenor horn. And I realised, because I was a French horn player, and as a kid I could play it. So when we did the scenes when we were playing, I just play along. And the guy next to me was the actual first tenor horn player in the band. And I said to him at one point, I said, why is it a bit flat when I play? And he looked at me and went, because you can't play. And I said, okay, you have a go. So he played my horn and he went, oh yeah, it is a bit flat.
That's very good.
Did you have a reaction when you first heard Obi-Wan's theme? Because Princess Leia and Darth Vader, they all have themes.
Yes.
Obi-Wan has one.
There was two things that I was so moved by, and I think it's so beautiful, the music. And I was also crushed because I wasn't there when they recorded it. And they recorded it in LA, and I was in LA, and John Williams had it managed to secure, up until that point, and the whole orchestra were unable to play together because of the COVID protocols that Disney had in place. But somehow he managed to, we got to a place where he was allowed to have the whole orchestra play together. But as a result, there was very, very few people allowed to go other than the musicians. And so I wanted very much to be there because I've met John Williams in the past, and I was there when they recorded the music for episode 3, which was unbelievable with all the choir, and when they recorded that in Abbey Road in London, I was present. So I wanted very much to be there for Obi-Wan's theme because it was my theme. But they wouldn't let me go because they wouldn't let me even sneak in the back, because they were so tight with the COVID rules.
Were you able to hear when he played it live at Celebration?
I did, yeah. And I also, when they recorded it for the first time, when they recorded it and when it was played for the very first time, I was given a live link, so I was able to sit at home and listen to it live. So I was sort of present. It's nice, isn't it?
I have another audience question. Have either of you got a chance to go to Galaxy's Edge? The Star Wars land at Disney?
No, I haven't. I've been there. Me and Mary went on when we were there for Celebration, and we just thought, okay, let's do it. So we put our masks on and we wore a cap. We went in at night. We spent like 2-3 hours in there. It was really cool. Who's been? Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? It's good. I really like the experience. That ride that they had was pretty awesome. And yeah, it's good. You can lose yourself in there.
Yeah, you can lose a lot of money too. It's really, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I buy money. There's a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of cool obi-wan shirts like the one you're wearing.
Right.
What are you wearing?
Who designed that t-shirt you're wearing?
You know, Ewan, I'm glad you asked. No, I did not ask you to ask this. I did. It's fun. Thank you.
Very nice. Very good.
Thank you very much.
They're available, I believe, somewhere on the...
We can talk about it.
Okay.
You're going to get me... NorthSeasonStore.com. Anyway, have you ever done a musical? Have you ever... I know you've done a musical. Would you ever do another musical?
Yes, I would definitely do a musical. I haven't done one, no. Would you like to? Sure, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. It's funny, there's very few around, you know, they're quite rare. And I'd love to do it after we did Moulin Rouge. I went on stage in London, but I did Guys and Dolls for 6 months in London, which was amazing. And it's an amazing experience, using music and storytelling. I just love it. But there's very few movies made that are musicals, and I'm just waiting for the next offering.
So you're ready to go. Because the question was from Alex, from people in the audience, wanted to know if you do it at Broadway, which would be great because I live near there. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to do a musical Broadway, yeah. I sing in the new Pinocchio film that we're doing with Guillermo del Toro. I do a song like that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And you said you'd like to do one. Are you into the musical arts?
Yeah, I like the when in film when they really, as Ewan said, use music and you know, Ewan's so many amazing. Like Down the Clock is brilliant. I think that's fantastic. Moulin Rouge is brilliant. I'd like to do like Book of Mormon as a film. You know, something which has that, or Spamalot, something that has some humour in there. You know, that would be great.
And then, gentlemen, do you have a favorite film? Favorite movie that you like to watch? Not Star Wars or anything, just your favorite of all time.
Okay. I've got lots of favourite films. But ones that have stayed with me all my life, there's a film called Breaking Away. Does people know that film? About the cyclist?
Yeah.
I love that film. And Dennis Quaid's in it, he's really young. And it's about 4 friends. One of them's a mad, passionate cyclist. And he dreams of being the greatest heroes of the Italian cycle team, the Cinzano cycling team. And it's where's he? Indianapolis.
Bloomington, Indiana.
Indiana. And it's a wonderful story, and that's a film that I'll watch anytime, any day.
Such a great one. Would you have a favorite film?
I can't not watch Indiana Jones if it's on, which is just like, to me, complete heaven. I also have a really soft spot for a little film that Stanley Tucci made called Big Night. It's just the most touching story, 2 brothers trying to make a restaurant work, and I don't know why, but I love that picture too.
And so I'm not going to ask about TRAINSPOTTing 3 or Kenobi Season 2, unless you want to.
I'm totally up for it, guys. I want to do it.
Oh, you're up for it?
Yeah.
And you made it out too, so we could maybe possibly see you, but you're saying there's nothing known or maybe not any like planning at all?
I'm absolutely honest, there's no plan to make one yet, but I think, I'm pretty sure they're just biding their time. I think that nobody's approached me as yet.
It was a huge success, the largest premiere in Disney Plus history.
Yeah, come on, Disney, come on. Yeah.
Come on, let's do it now.
Let's do it.
What about, do you have any other projects you can talk about? Will do. Any other things coming up outside of Star Wars?
Yeah, I made a movie with Wes Anderson last year, which was a phenomenal experience, and I'm going off to do another one next month, actually. Yeah.
I saw it. It's really good. I saw that you were in one that's out now.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's the French Dispatch.
Yes.
Yeah. I just sat around in my underwear for about.
No, but it was great.
Yes, it's great.
I really enjoyed it. So you did another one since then?
The two since then. He's very working a lot at the moment.
That's great.
Yeah.
I made a film with my daughter, Clara, at the end of last year, which is based loosely on our own experience the last 4 or 5 years, and it was the most amazing experience. She had the story written, she produced it, got all the right people involved in it, and we shot in New Mexico for 6-7 weeks last year, and it's beautiful. So that's coming out. We're going to try and take that to some film festivals, maybe this year. Certainly hope to take it to ones at the beginning of next year. And then I made a film with Rodrigo Garcia, who's a friend of mine, called Raymond and Ray, where I play half-brothers with Ethan Hawke, and we're going to take to the Toronto Film Festival. So those are the 2 projects that are coming out.
So we got things looking forward to, and hopefully we'll get enough push behind canoeing and transporting 3. I can't say that word tonight. I have no idea.
Transporting 3? That's a whole other.
Trainspotting 3.
Transporting 3.
Thanks. This is the final part that's going to go all over the internet. I'm going to have to answer this.
Yeah. We may find that in the post. That's great.
Let's go to 3. Trainspotting. But
like George did, they'll make 3 first, and then go back and make 1 and 2.
Prequel in the 70s. But gentlemen, I want to thank you both for coming. This was just such a great talk, and you guys are both going to be in the main hall for the remainder of the afternoon. And as the guys come online and see, but again, thank you very much. This was a blast. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for having us. It's great to be in Texas, and it's been great to meet you all.